Alright, so once we start talking props, then I always refer them to Performance Propeller here in Nashville. And you can even do it online. You don't have to do it in Tennessee. It can be, either that or go to your local prop shop if you don't. But you can show them what your boat is, and then they can recommend the right prop. You tell them what you want to do with the boat, and they know props. So there's a little science behind it. I just found that it's a lot better. Even with what limited knowledge I know, I just refer them to them. They got the best deals. You can get the right prop. It might be a little bit more expensive than just buying a prop off the internet, but you're paying for the knowledge that they have, and so they can tell you exactly what prop they recommend to run on the boat you're running it on. Alright, well, it's a chilly day today here in Tennessee. Alright, so you notice the engine's gone on the... I had the 1968 Evinrude 65 horsepower. And so the story is, I did a compression test, and turns out, we're at 90 on the compression, and I don't know what the compression really should be. I think it's low, but some of the Evinrudes are low sometimes. But that wasn't the big problem, because I think it would run. I think the issue with it is that it really needed like the whole ignition system, which I kind of feel like I told the customer that I felt like somebody had put good on top of bad. And what I mean by that is they put a CDI unit on it, and I could tell they had done that, and it ran for a little while, and then it wouldn't run again. So was it the points? Was it, the distributor? Was it a rectifier, a trigger, or stator that caused it not to fire? Not sure. So I told him I'd have to take the time to go through every component to see what was the problem. And he could pay me an hourly rate to go through that and figure out which one is not, which is the problem. But then everything is so old on it that you could replace that, and then you could have another problem again. It'd be better to restore that engine and put all new ignition system in it. The CDI unit, it's like $300. So by the time you add in a distributor, points, plug wires, plugs, a new rectifier, stator, then you're looking at some money. And he really didn't want to put that kind of money into an older motor. So you have, obviously you have some purists out there, and they would want to restore that motor to exactly the way it was, or at least, a functional place that it would run for a good long time. There were a lot of unknowns even after we fixed that stuff. Then, does it need a water pump? Does it need the carbs cleaned? Are the carburetors good? Probably, and just clean them. Probably needs a new fuel pump. So then it's even more money, So he wanted to not do that. He didn't want to go down that road. He wasn't interested in restoring it. He was more interested in getting out on the lake and just driving. So we pulled the motor off of the transom, and of course I resealed it, because luckily for him, whoever put the transom in, they didn't seal it. There was no sealant on it at all, so none of the bolt holes. Do we have some rotten wood? Probably. But I just resealed it with some 3M 4200, and once we seal up the bolt holes, may have to put some fiberglass in this hole and fill it with some epoxy. Because the plan is, he bought this Mercury. It's a 70 horsepower. It's an old 700, and it's got the old school trim on it. I mean, he bought this motor real cheap. There's the trim pump. So we're gonna mount that guy on here. Now, there's a little bit of engineering goes on with this. We got the transom, and of course, you know, that was an old engine, and it was before they kind of most all of the manufacturers, they got where, I mean, it really depends on their horsepower, but most of the transoms, the bolt hole pattern on the engines kind of standard, like 8-inch, you know. So we're a lot farther than 8 inches here, and this is a lot further up here, right? So I'm gonna let this cure, and then I'll probably clean this off, or I should have done it before I did reseal the transom, but I wanted to get the transom resealed. So really, like, okay, so I'm gonna clean this up. You know, I just get a Scotch-Brite pad and I'll clean it up. And I mean, this says cured 7 days, so probably really just need to leave it the way it is. It was riveted. I used these screws, and you know, of course, those got a bead of the 4200 in them. So, you know, I mean, I noticed a few things. That's why I was saying, like, maybe I have to go in and put a little, because these holes are not going to be usable. So what I told him to do is to buy a jack plate. So you can get a jack plate. I've got some emails going right now with Vance Manufacturing, and so I sent him the measurement from here to here and the measurements on the bolt hole pattern on the engine. And of course, he's a busy guy, so I'm just waiting for him to tell me which which one of those jack plates I need. And we're gonna get like a 3-inch jack plate. And guys, you can get them as cheap as, you know, a couple $100, and really just buy the bolts from them. And what we'll do on this one is, this is all glassed in. It's transom wood all the way down to about here or so, and it's up underneath. So it's kind of up underneath the splash well back there. But on the back side, on the lower and upper, when you order that stuff, it's going to be lower and upper. But back here, where we have the bolt holes, right? Bolt holes go all the way across. I'm going to get a plate. You know, they make an aluminum transom. It's like a saber, so it'll reinforce this right here, and then I'll have one on the inside underneath, so that jack plate that Vance makes, you know, you can actually take it apart, and then you can mount this piece first, and then once you mount that, then you could take the other piece that the motor mounts on. My camera's giving me all kinds of crazy. But you can just take, you could just take that guy and then, you know, you'll put it on there. You'll see how it comes apart. It comes apart real easy, but then you'll put it back together, and you can measure and find, you know, the bottom of the transom. So on that bottom of this transom down here, we're going to measure 3.5 inches, and that's where the middle of our lower unit should be. That's like a good starting point. So I get it mounted up there, I'll do it 3.5 inches, and then, you know, this boat probably never got real fast, even with that other Evinrude, because it was sitting about that far down in the water. The lower unit was. So you can see, man, I mean, it wasn't doing, it just probably wasn't doing a lot. So I bet once we put this on here and we get this right, he's gonna have like a lot more speed, and then he'll just need to figure out, you know, if he wants to change the pitch of his prop. The other thing that we're doing to this boat is he had a cable steer. Okay, and so this is what goes under the dash. It's got these cables on it. They run on both sides of the boat. This is which looks to me like a 13-inch steering wheel, which is fine. And then it had some other pieces that I just kind of threw in a bag. So this is how this one works. So this goes on your dash. This then slides up through here, and then of course you put your steering wheel on it. So you can replace these because, well, if it's working, I guess you could use it, but so like these were all rusted up. This is no good. And then he had on this side, those rollers were fine, but the rollers over here, you know, they're not. They're all messed up. So what we'll do is replace it with a Seastar. It's a cable kit that you can buy. These are pretty popular. They're anywhere from 140 or 150 bucks to, you know, 200 bucks. Depends on if you get the steering wheel or not. But so essentially this is the piece, and what it does is you put it, like you want to run it on the driver's side. So you run your cable on that side. So when you mount this, you mount it in like this, and the cable end, it gets fed into here or up through here. Just have to read which direction, and then it'll lock. And there's, to ever get them out, usually there's a set screw, or like these are a set screw. Or you can, or they'll have like a hex screw. I'm sorry, just thinking while I'm doing this. And then, so this goes behind the dash, and it slides like so. And then they've got several bolt holes, so you can, like if you need to mount it a certain way. So if you need to mount it a certain way, like you could turn this however you needed to turn it, you know, depending on your dash, because you're going to drill through your dash, and when you do that, there's some bolts that go here. So actually this goes like this. So this mounts against your dash, and then these holes right here, they line up, and they've got some screws that you put in there. So then when you mount it, you know, you're going to mount it like so. So like mine, I think will be fine if we do, you know, this, or we do this, just so we get our holes to line up. And it's going to be about like that. So we're just going to do something like that. You know, if I get it flush up and down, then this will, you know, if it's off like one hole, it's no matter, you know, if it's like down or something. But you want to try to get it as straight as you can. So we want it to kind of go like that. And when I get underneath there, it may be something like I have to tilt it just slightly. You know what I mean? So this cable will go in. So anyway, that's why they got all the holes, so you can adjust it. And then it comes with just a whole kit of screws and everything. The only thing, yeah, I do think they, let's see here. Yeah, I think they do give you a nut for your steering wheel, which is good. So anyway, that's got to get installed, and then I'll have to install the remote, and that is up in the boat. Microphone is messing up, and I don't have any audio for a while. I'm not the only one either, because I've seen some other guys. So on this deal, okay, here's your Merc control. So I went to Ace Hardware. I got some 4-inch quarter 20, and these are panhead. I guess they call them panhead. And you put them in the holes, and then what you want to do, with the easiest thing to do, like he already has a nice plate. If you had aluminum or something, you could do the same trick. But what you want to do here is kind of figure out where you want this to go, and leave those in, and then line it up, and take, like I got this rubber mallet here, and I just kind of held it, and I tapped each one of these, and what that did was left me a mark. Like you see, this one's here and there, and then I just need to drill those out to the size I need, and then this thing is mounted. So that's a good little trick, and I'll, you know, do all 4, because you know you're going to be shifting. I don't like this. I don't know if there's a way to, you know, or he can do that. He can maybe, you know, take some board or something and try to, you know, shore this up some. It's still pretty good. I think it'll be fine. Once I get it on and mounted, we'll see just how durable it feels. If it feels like it needs some support, then, you know, we'll put some support in it, or get him to, you know, do something about that. So, and then I'll just route all our cabling back underneath, back up through here. It'll come out that hole right there, and then, you know, we'll have our mounted, or motor mounted. I do see something. I may have to take a screw and put another screw in that transom. See that? Alright, so yeah, I got another boat over here too. It's a repeat customer. Got a couple that's on the way. Obviously, I'm still trying to sell the 40, and you know, I've got a couple other jobs going, about 3 other jobs going, so pretty busy. So again, I guess to say, hey, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe and like my video, and comment if you want to, and I guess until next time, we'll see ya.